Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. Just got this book. It was recommended, and I really want to get into it. It's actually kind of recommended by William F. Buckley Jr. I know some people will like Bill Buckley. Some people want, I know like the John Birch Society thinks he's this globalist New World Order charlatan, a Trojan horse of the rightist movement. But I'll tell you, what a wordsmith he was, and watching his YouTube videos, I really like Bill Buckley. You know, he's on Firing Line for years, I guess it was, with who was it? I think it may have been another Buckley that took his place. Guy who ran for president, I can't think of his name right now. But from to say Marx to Hitler and Pol Pot. And so you can just see, I mean, it's just, it looks like a great book. And, you know, the fact of the matter is leftism always brings death, destruction, and tyranny. The elimination of personal freedom, the exaltation of the state, and the state with elites leading the state, getting all the spoils. The elimination of free speech. Look at the Soviet Union. Look at the Iron Curtain. Look at Pol Pot. Look at China. Look at North Korea. Look at Vietnam. It is a suppressor of human liberty. And so, another leftist war. I find it fascinating. It's from Sade, you know, the elimination of morals. And so many of them have had, because leftism with progressivism basically says there is no morals. You can make things up as you go along. And so what you believed 5 years ago, now everything's changed, and if you don't believe it, you're politically incorrect and bad things happen. It's done by Reaganry, which is a big time conservative publishing house, and it was done in 1990. So I wish to thank both the Historical Research Foundation and Earhart Foundation for grants that made this book possible. Looks like Patricia Bozell, which is Brent Bozell, which is Bill Buckley's sister. So preface by William Buckley. That's probably good, just worth reading. Oh, and he starts off with Theodore Adorno, which, and Marcuse. We no longer speak about Marcuse. Well, I don't know. I think Gottfried actually studied under Marcuse. But this is all fascinating stuff. Gottfried would be considered an old rightist. So let's see how many pages this thing is. It's, let's go into this. It's a lot of pages. Well, I'm in references right now. Okay, so the actual book itself is 342 pages of reading. And then footnotes, of which there's well over 1,100, maybe over 1,200, no, 1,188 footnotes. The footnotes go from page 343 to 492, so right at 150 pages of footnotes, and then an index. Boy, it's got a lot of John Adams in here, John Quincy Adams, Mortimer Adler, Alcibiades, Akbar the Great. I mean, you know, so you're just looking at all kinds. A lot of people I've never heard of, such as Etienne Bonnet de Condillac. I may have heard of him, but Bonnet de Mably, Stephen Bonzel, not acquainted with him, Daniel F. Burstein, Robert Lord Boothby, Herman Borchardt, Juan Bordaberry, Saul Bloom, heard of Alan Bloom. So, you know, this is just, and here's a picture of him, who he is. So you had William F. Buckley, and then is it Bill Buckley who still is right? He ran for president in the 90s. I think that's true. But I don't know. It also has a recommendation by Joseph Sobran, who is a phenomenal writer, wrote for the National Review. And I'm going to see something here. I'm going to look up. This is just eating me alive, my curiosity here. So I know this guy wrote a book called The Death of the West. Deaths of the West. So I'm getting off my Yahoo News there. Death of the West. I think that was the name of it. Now that's not Oswald Spengler. Pat Buchanan. That's who I'm trying to think of. I am so thankful I looked that up. Now I feel better about myself. So this is, if you really want to stay, there's several just considered to be, magnum opuses of rightism and then exposing leftism. This would be one of them. And God willing, I'll read it one day, at least reference it. So just want to make you aware that this book was out there. God bless. Talk with you later.